Volume 6 is on course to reveal the most amount of lore the series has delivered to date. Chapter 3, The Lost Fable, revealed to us the early history between Ozpin and Salem. In this episode, we learn just how these two came to survive throughout seemingly all of history. Fact of the matter is that they weren't there since its beginning, but they were there since Remnant's beginning. Before Remnant's existence, the world used to be filled with individuals who could use magic and gods who lived amongst men. Ozpin and Salem, once past lovers, were almost separated by death. Salem attempting to bring Ozpin back to life only angered the gods, wiping out all of humanity and thus cursing her in hopes that she learned the importance of life and death. Ozpin, on the other hand, was given an opportunity to make things right, to redeem humanity. The God of Light stated that life will once again return to their world, but it will only be a fraction of what it once was. Bestowing it relics of knowledge, choice, creation, and destruction, Ozpin agrees to try and make the world peaceful. But until he does, he shall forever reincarnate. Once Ozpin believes his task is complete, the relics, when brought together, shall summon the brothers back, and they shall determine if humanity is worth saving. So, locked in a battle which neither one can die, why is Ozpin's goal of redeeming humanity destined to fail? The answer to this question does not reside in the past. In fact, the sole reason lies in the present. You see, current day Ozpin is a big fan of his secrets. He knows about the gods, the world before, and seemingly most important to him, about Salem. He lies to everyone, leads the world to believe a narrative that doesn't exist because he believes that they cannot handle the real truth. Salem's existence is something that he both wants nobody to know about, while also placing her as the #1 threat that faces Remnant. Ozpin's most recent attempt to counter and stop Salem began with him becoming King of Vale. It was in this time that the Great War happened, where Ozpin conquered everyone and decided to build the academies at each kingdom to train future huntsmen. It would be at these academies where he would store the relics, placing them in the heart of good warriors' homes. By doing this, Salem would have to go through all kinds of trained fighters to even get a chance at obtaining the relic. But this design acts as a double-edged sword. These schools function as a sort of alarm, a large "we're under attack" alarm. As we know, it's only recently that Salem has begun to make her move on Ozpin's current setup, but it's not Salem's doing that faulted Ozpin this time around. In terms of attaining the relics, we don't know what Ozpin has once done to try and hide them away. But in current day, the relics aren't hidden. Not really. Salem doesn't need to search the world over for where they are, because Ozpin, all pun intended, placed beacons as to where they reside. The 4 relics are at the school, so finding them is only a simple maiden key away. But that's not the only flaw that these academies hold. Because of Ozpin's secrets, there's only a handful of people who know of Salem's existence and that of the relics. So let's take for example Beacon. When Beacon fell, no one knew of the relics, and so everyone left. The place where the relic was meant to be guarded remains unguarded because Ozpin informed no one about it. Despite using these academies to keep the relic safe, in reality, Ozpin's group only consists of about 5 to 10 people. Everyone else is just fodder. Meanwhile, Salem's forces also consist of about 5 to 10 people. It's a small number of individuals apparently fighting in a war that is to determine the fate of Remnant. So in this current strategy of Ozpin's, Salem knows exactly where it is she needs to attack, while no one knows what it is that needs to be defended. So the schools are a double-edged sword to Ozpin, but that's only one flaw that harms his cause. Another is Salem. No, not directly anything that she's doing or up to, just her mere existence. It consumes Ozpin. Prior to this episode, every bit of information Ozpin gave us led the audience to believe that Salem is the cause for his curse. He even outright says it.
This curse was bestowed upon me by the gods, because I failed to stop Salem in the past. But we must stop her now.
But because of Volume 6, we learn that Salem had nothing to do with it. Yes, she did try to bring him back to life, but those efforts failed. It was the God of Light who approached him and proposed a contract to which Ozpin agreed. Salem would have just gone the rest of her immortal life without Ozpin being there, but it was his decision that gave him his own curse. So why does he lie about it in current day? Always painting Salem as the villain who must be stopped and as to the one who could free him of his contract. Because for whatever reason, Ozpin cannot let Salem go. She is not the key to world peace. She has done nothing to hinder the Faunus' equality. In fact, she doesn't even want the world to know she exists. She lives in her castle, formerly the home of the god of destruction, and like chess, sends pieces out to see what happens. But Ozpin built armies, built academies, and soldiers he throws at her. He plans in preparation for her, and yet the Faunus are still discriminated. Conflict still happens, and all of Ozpin's attention is on Salem. She haunts his mind 100% of the time. Even when she's not making a move, Ozpin tries to build up a defense for what may come. Salem is not Ozpin's problem. She has her own motive, and clearly the world has moved on without knowing anything about her. I'm not saying Ozpin needs to forget about her. He must always keep an eye over his shoulder, but it's because of his mentality about her that once again makes him fallible. He blames Salem for everything, but it's not Salem that halts Ozpin's goal. The reason Ozpin is destined to fail redeeming humanity is because of himself. The god didn't set him up for failure. And Salem has her own motive that doesn't directly affect Ozpin's task. Ozpin is the one who stops Remnant from achieving peace. While he believes it is Salem who is his worst enemy, he himself is the biggest detriment to the world. As the God of Light stated, humanity was founded upon the ideals of creation, destruction, knowledge, and choice. It is these four things that make humanity what it is. Humanity will always create, as well as destroy. There's nothing you can do about it. Whether creations be brought upon through advancements in technology, science, or more accurately, through birth, and destruction through things like war. But what Remnant's truly missing are the other two ideals, knowledge and choice. Both of these ideals Ozpin holds in his hand and refuses to give to the world, perhaps in fear of what may happen. His knowledge of the world that once existed before, the one of magic and gods, as well as his own tasks the God of Light gave him. Knowledge of these events he keeps secret from the world. Such events are part of its history, and to hide it away strips humanity of one of its very own ideals. That, in combination with his strategy against Salem, strips choice away from people as well. These two ideals go hand in hand, and so without knowledge, choice cannot be made. The illusion of choice is ever prevalent, but it's the choice that Ozpin set up for them to make. Painting Salem as the true villain who stands in the way of the world, choice revolves around fighting her. In reality, while she does pose a problem, she is not the problem. It's not her job to inform the world of their past, as doing so wouldn't affect her curse in any way. So, much like a villain, she's free to do as she wishes, whether it be help or harm the world. Ozpin tries to lead the world as though he were a god, determining the information that he believes the world should know. But Ozpin is not a god. Remnant's history is something that every man, woman, and Faunus should know about. In lying to them all and hiding the truth away, humanity will never be redeemed, and Ozpin will never accomplish the one mission he was sent to do. He must allow knowledge and choice to play out in the world. It doesn't matter the short-term reaction that might be had. The panic, the grim casualties, the emotion. It's the long-term solution that he must be looking at, but fails to do. But here's the thing about this. Yes, Ozpin's current plan is flawed, and he will fail once again. But that's only if Ozpin is the one who controls the board. Team RWBY, Oscar, Crow have all begun to learn the truth as to what's happened. The history of the world that once was. Perhaps they will hop aboard Ozpin's train and believe that hiding this is all for the better. But in reality, it's not. The simpler, more honest souls may see what the right thing to do here is. So if Ozpin continues down the path he paved himself, Salem will surely gather the relics for her own revenge. Redemption lies in knowledge and choice, two things Ozpin has stripped Remnant of.